Okay, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Canadian Greek coming at you with this installment, which is going to be called 7-Year Tribulation Begins Now. Um, I've been away for a little while. You guys haven't heard from me for a little bit, but I've been ill. Um, Getting better now. So I'm back and with a vengeance. So because I got a lot to get through today, let's get through it. Because we really do have a lot of material to cover. So let's get right to it. The coming blood moons. Okay, now I'm sure most of you have heard about the 4 blood moons that are going to be taking place over the next 2 years. Okay, let's read what it says here. 4 blood moons on Jewish feast days within 2 years in Israel is very rare. Well, it's pretty rare all over the world. I don't know what to put in Israel there for, but anyways. And has only occurred 7 times since the time of Yeshua, Jesus. There are now 4 blood moons scheduled to appear in 2014, 2015, and then there will not be any for the next 100 years. Every time a blood moon pattern has appeared on Jewish feast days, a big event affects the nation of Israel. The event affecting Israel begins just before the actual years of the blood moons. To understand what will happen in 2014, 2015, by the way, I think this is a mistake. The event affecting Israel begins just before the actual years of the blood moons. I think that's incorrect. But anyways, to understand what will happen in the 2014-2015 blood moons, you must understand the pattern of the blood moons in the past. It was confirmed by NASA that we have had blood moons on the first day of Passover and the first day of Sukkot on back-to-back years 7 times since 1 AD, so since the time of Christ. 3 of these occurrences were connected to 1492, the year the Jews were expelled from Spain by Queen Isabella, 1948, statehood for Israel and the War of Independence, and 1967, the Six-Day War. Some of the most significant days in Jewish history. According to NASA, 4 blood red total lunar eclipses will fall again on Passover and Sukkot in 2014 and 2015. The same back-to-back occurrences at the time of 1492, 1948, and 1967. Okay, by the way, one of those blood moons has already occurred on April the 15th, 2014, on Passover. The next one is slated for October the 8th, and then April the 4th of 2015. And Sukkot, which will be September the 28th of 2015. By the way, there is a full lunar or solar eclipse in between the lunar eclipses. Okay, that's also very rare. Now, so what does this mean for Israel? Okay, 4 blood moons. What could that possibly mean for the nation of Israel? But not just for Israel, for the world. Let's have a look. Okay, must-read Bible prophecy. The peace agreement between the Palestinians and Israelis might happen April 29th, 2014. That is just 5 days away from now. Okay, and this will be the beginning of the final 7 years for the end of the world. Well, not the end of the world, but the end of time as we know it, or life as we know it, as we understand it right now. President Obama and U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry have set a deadline of April 29, 2014 to reach a peace agreement between Palestinians and Israelis. The 2 sides are negotiating in secret on a daily basis. If the stated goal is achieved, the final 7 years to Armageddon and the second coming of Jesus to the earth will begin in just 4 months. Well, 4 months from the time this article was written. Okay, April the 29th, it is the 24th right now, so that is only 5 days away. There are many reasons to believe that the time has come. Following are some of them. The prophesied agreement will turn Judea into a Palestinian state. The United Nations voted on November 29, 2012 to recognize a Palestinian state within pre-1967 borders. This is the biblical area of Judea. As a result, Israel is now considered an occupying power in the eyes of the world community. If Israel doesn't come to terms with the Palestinians through negotiations, the Palestinians have already said they will file charges against Israel at the UN. Israel desperately wants to avoid a showdown with the entire world community. When the agreement is signed, the Temple Mount will be placed under a sharing arrangement between Muslims and Jews. This is described in Revelation 11:1-2. A law was introduced in the Israeli Knesset on November 1st, 2013, to place the Temple Mount under a sharing arrangement so that both Jews and Muslims can worship there. During the first 3.5 years after the agreement is signed, the Jews will build their temple on the Temple Mount. The Temple Institute in Jerusalem was founded by Rabbi Israel Ariel in 1987. The Institute has now recreated all the vessels and utensils that are required for the building of the temple and resumption of temple worship. In 2013, a new Ark of the Covenant was completed and is now on display in the Temple Institute. I was also told by the guide at the Institute that the architectural drawings for the construction of the third temple are now complete. Everything is ready to go. In 2013, Israel's number one trading partner, the European Union, placed the settlements in Judea, Samaria under economic sanctions. No EU member is supposed to conduct trade with the West Bank settlers or with any Israeli entity that has any ties to the West Bank settlers. Many other countries and organizations are beginning to follow suit. If the peace talks do not succeed, Israel will soon find herself isolated from the world. Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas has said that he will press charges against Israel if her leaders before the International Criminal Court if a peace agreement is not reached by April 29, 2014. This could result in Israeli leaders being placed on trial at The Hague and sentenced to prison by the International Tribunal. Last but certainly not least, Israel's main supporter, the United States of America, is determined and that an agreement will be reached at this time. The U.S. is prepared to use all the power at its disposal to see that an agreement is reached. Israel does not want to alienate its main ally. Not only main ally, but anyways. So it's very interesting that with the blood moons, one of them has already occurred, okay? And now we have the peace treaty, or the peace agreement about to be signed between Israel and the Palestinians in just 5 days. This is monumental, people. If this takes place, this really is the kickoff of the tribulation. Okay. Now let's have a look at a little timeline here, just so we can have some idea of what's going on. This is the first half of the tribulation here. Okay. This is the second half of the tribulation. In the first half is well, it's very interesting what we have to look at here. Hang on a second. Put it a little more over here. This is the first half of the first half. So basically, this is the first quarter, okay, of the tribulation. And we have signs in the heavens, big earthquake, sun turns to black, moon turns to red, turns to blood, in other words. Heavens roll up, every island and mountain move, pole shift, stars fall to earth, meteors, etc., etc. And this is going to happen in the first half of the first half, so basically in the first quarter. Oops. So if this is going to be on the first quarter, okay, that's basically 2 years from now. 2 years is going to be 2016. All these black moon, all these blood red moon, and all the stars falling and everything. What's coming up in 2016, guys? If anybody has been following my stuff knows what I think is coming in 2016, and it's going to be pretty big. It's going to be pretty nasty. What else? Things are kicking off all over the place. There's a galactic super waves that is slated to possibly take place. We don't know because we have no idea. Well, let's read what it says here. One principal area of research that the Starburst Foundation is involved with is the investigation of galactic superwaves, intense cosmic ray particle barrages that travel to us from the center of our galaxy, and that can last for periods up to several thousand years. Astronomical and geological evidence indicates that the last major superwave impacted our solar system around 12 to 16,000 years ago. 12,000 years ago would have been thinking of Atlantis. And produced abrupt changes to Earth's climate. And it's estimated that approximately one or two superwaves strong enough to trigger an ice age are presently on their way to us from the birthplace, from their birthplace 23,000 light years away. There is a finite chance that one such event could arrive within the next few decades. Okay, I'm not going to read this whole article because I'm really pressed for time, but this is one other problem that we might have. And then there was another article that I had found, but for the life of me I cannot find it again, which states that May and June may be very interesting times. But anyways, well, I'll elaborate further on galactic superwaves and 219 linear in another video. What else have we got? Crimea. Okay, 1.3 meter body with crown in 165 million years old pyramid. I'm sure you guys all have heard about Crimea. It's been in the news. It's been all over the place. It's been all over YouTube. What I wanted to say about this. Well, what I wanted to say about this is that this is a very dangerous situation, but I don't think that all the wars that are going on in the world are over oil. Okay, I'm surprised, in fact, that the Smithsonian hasn't already swooped in and collected everything that there is there. Probably because they haven't dug it up yet. But I doubt much of this stuff will see the light of day. But then again, it's in the Ukraine, but the Russians have control of the area, so. I don't know how much the Russians play ball with the Smithsonian and other entities that wish to keep cryptoarchaeology and stuff, strange skeletons, giants, etc., under wraps. But I think this is one of the reasons why Putin is so, how shall we say, hot for Crimea and why he wants it so badly. Aside from the money of the oil and the gas, and something else. Russian archaeologists uncover skeletons of satyr and a giant horse, the fallen angels' past hybridizations and their future return. Interesting. They have uncovered a skeleton, and you guys, by the way, I'll be leaving links to all this stuff. A skeleton with a human head and the body of a sheep. That's interesting, don't you think? Maybe centaurs and stuff were real back in the days. In Greek mythology we have centaurs, we have cyclops, we have giants. Maybe they were real after all, right? If it wasn't for the Smithsonian, we probably have skeletons and evidence to look at in museums. Okay. Okay, I've been ill for the last few weeks, so I've been out of action. It's good to be back on my feet as well. There's a lot of information here. I kind of rushed through it. Kind of forgot how to make videos, for crying out loud. Anyways, I'll be leaving links to all this stuff, and as always, I always recommend that you not only look at the information that I provide you, but you expand on it, do your own research, and come to your own conclusions. Blood moons, a signing of a treaty or of a peace agreement, 7-year peace agreement. Very, very, very interesting stuff. Coincidence? You guys know I don't believe in that. Anyways, this is the Canadian Greek. It's good to be back. I'm out.